Welcome to African Voices. I'm Larry Madowo in Richmond, Virginia. This was the first place where enslaved Africans set foot in the United States. So to be here is to live through 400 years of Black history. We've come here for a special interview with one of the best-known African actors in Hollywood, Djimon Hounsou. The Benin-born actor has a not-profit that does a lot of work here in this community, connecting the Black diaspora with the motherland. You'll see some of the events they have planned, including Run Richmond 1619, the work of trauma and reconciliation, modeling in France, and his movies.
Back in Africa, where I was born and raised, and sandy beaches that I've walked, not knowing who walked there before me. And this was the gate of no return, one of the most important gates in the transatlantic slave trade. And every time I was going back, I was looking from a distance, looking at this gate and thinking to myself, how do I bring my people together? The intergenerational pain and trauma that you're having to overcome, I was feeling all of that. I came here for a dream, and I'm realizing that systemic racism was in all things. And not only here, I realized that that systemic racism was also crippling the continent of Africa from evolving. So it was my inherent obligation to do something.
My mission is to strengthen Africa's intergenerational identity and self-awareness by reconnecting the people of the African diaspora to its motherland, to its history, ancestral roots, and culture. I'm Djimon Hounsou. I'm an actor, a philanthropist, and a change maker.
Behind Richmond, Virginia's scenic beauty lies a stark reminder of the dark legacy of slavery in America. The town was once a major hub in the transatlantic slave trade, where hundreds of thousands of enslaved Africans were auctioned off to the highest bidder and forced into hard labor. This history has disconnected many Black people from their African roots. For Benin-born actor Djimon Hounsou, setting foot on American soil in 1990 released a pain he could not ignore.
I don't know if I can articulate it in words. For the little that I've been experiencing, for the little that I've been struggling with, in terms of systemic racism today and all that, just imagine what it was once upon a time here, to trying to exist as a human being. Just imagine that. It's just heart-wrenching and, almost like, I'm yelling I feel like my soul and my spiritual soul is yelling to the sky and wanting to, to be seen, to be heard.
That notion led the two-time Oscar-nominated actor to start the Djimon Hounsou Foundation in 2019 with a mission to unite the African diaspora. Djimon, thank you so much for talking to us.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, and thanks so much for traveling so far from...
all the way from Kenya.
All the way from Kenya.
We're in Richmond, Virginia for a reason, because you do a lot of work specifically in the city. Why?
Richmond, Virginia is truly the cradle of the history of America. It is the place that took the first slave ship, coming from Africa, to reconnect the African diaspora, the people of the African diaspora, to the motherland, to their ancestral roots and culture. And so that's profoundly why we're here.
You're a guy from Benin. You got here via France. How did you get interested in this work to start with?
Well, I think my acting work really opened my eyes. So I came to America at the age of 23, and I felt this profound disconnect with African American. The inspiration came really, and the awareness came from when I started making this film with, that was directed by Steven Spielberg, called Amistad.
And what poundage do you imagine the entry may refer to, sir? A mast and sails, perhaps?
Give us free. Give us free.
It was a slave revolt movie that talked about our people. It was late in the slave trade. As I was doing research for the film, I became profoundly aware of the disconnect of Afro-descendants from their roots and culture. Because if you don't know where you come from, you don't know who you are. I had this compelling need to do something for my people, for my continent and for my people, and that was really what compelled me to start my, so many years later, to start my foundation.
Your foundation, the Djimon Hounsou Foundation, does a lot of work here in making that connection between Africans and the Black diaspora.
For my foundation, we started, one of the attributes of the foundation is Africa Reconnect. And Africa Reconnect is kind of like I said, is to strengthen Africa's intergenerational identity and self-awareness by bringing the people, by reconnecting the people of the African diaspora to the motherland, to the history and ancestral roots and culture. And that is really why we're here.
Next, Djimon Hounsou's mission to reconnect the Black diaspora to Africa and how he's using his foundation to make it happen. At the core of the Djimon Hounsou Foundation's mission is Africa Reconnect, a series of running, music, and cultural events currently held in Richmond, Virginia. Over the next 2 years, Hounsou hopes to expand these events to Liverpool and Ouidah, Benin, symbolically reflecting the historical path of the transatlantic slave trade.
Even though I'm from West Africa, born and raised in West Africa, when I came to this country, I certainly felt a tremendous void. And that void is due to the lack of acknowledging who we are, acknowledging our backstory, meaning our history, ancestral, roots and culture, and is really the reason why I was driven to want to connect the Afro-descendant, from the diaspora back to the, our ancestral roots, that is Africa.
Good morning, everyone.
We attended the kickoff of Hounsou's 3rd annual event in Virginia, Run Richmond 1619, a distinctive celebration that combines running, music, and culture, highlighting African heritage.
I'm trying to champion the idea that we're all from every part of the state to come together, to have a specific place where we come to honor our ancestors.
The Yoruba people have a spiritual practice called Ifa.
Hounsou set the tone for the Richmond event with A Time to Heal, a powerful moment of reflection leading up to the race.
I want us to experience and celebrate unity and diversity as we walk those grounds, right? I want this to be a cathartic experience for our people to release grief.
Ashe.
This community-centered event unfolded at Main Street Station in Shoko Bottom, once the site of America's 2nd largest slave market.
So today, we pour libation.
The event started with a Yoruba-inspired libation ceremony honoring the ancestors.
Ashe.
Ashe. We thank the thousands of Africans amongst the first in America who came through Richmond's notorious markets, bringing both the knowledge and strength of the motherland and despair. Ashe.
Attendees were immersed in meditative moments, which included breathwork, guided meditation, and shamanic drumming.
It's a very traumatic, painful history. How do you mark something that painful without reopening those wounds, but making sure also that it's not forgotten?
Yes, I mean, it's inevitable to open those wounds. But by opening those wounds, by acknowledging what once took place here, you're engaging a form of healing. You know, the gathering of people in a place that was once a traumatic place, a traumatic event, place, brings tremendous healing for our ancestors. And that's what I'm trying to achieve, really.
You're in a unique position because you straddle both worlds. You live here in the US, you're from Africa. There's a lot of disconnect between African Americans and Africans, a lot of misunderstanding on both sides. Why do you think that is?
It's mostly due to the lack of knowledge, because we don't know about our history. We don't know about ourselves. Sometimes when you address an African American about, you know your origins, or do you know your backstory, most of them don't know, and most of them, if you tell them that you're somewhat, it's impossible that you're from anywhere, any place else outside of the continent of Africa. They seem to want to refute that understanding, and that's part of the disconnect. So my foundation, one of the leg of Africa Reconnect, is to organize curated trips to for young African Americans from the age of 18 to 29 to visit Africa. It will be like in a range of 14 days trip to Africa, where they can see several countries on that trip, and to hope that they would see and experience things that would change them.
Next, why Djimon Hounsou is using running to fuel unity in his nonprofit work.
We're here for Run Richmond 1619,
Right.
Which is a key part of the work that your foundation does here. Tell me about the name and the thinking around it.
Run Richmond 1619 is a cultural run and walk event that lets us experience over 400 years of Black history. A history that you can see, feel, and touch today in Richmond. It's a way to sort of like reflect on what took place here. It's a way to embrace and honor our ancestors. Run Richmond 1619 is it's a cultural sports event, and I was trying to find what would be instrumental to bring people together, and there are only very few things that allows you to massively bring people of, possibly of all races together, which are sport and music.
You're not just doing this commemoration here in Richmond in Virginia, you're going to take this to Benin and to Liverpool in the UK. Explain the significance of that.
Well, the significance is really trying to retrace the transatlantic slave trade, that triangle of trade. We're trying to reverse that triangle to be a triangle of hope. Yes, here we are at the Kanawha Park, and this is Run and Walk Day, and we hope that this becomes a cathartic experience for Black people to release grief and overcome this intergenerational trauma. This was once a dream of mine from the west coast of Africa, Benin Republic, and here we are today, and it's becoming, it has a life of its own, and it's becoming a thing. And so I'm extremely thankful and grateful of the number of people that showed up for the event.
3, 2, let's run!
approximately 2,000 people gathered in downtown Richmond on September 21st to take on either a 16.19 kilometer run or 6.19 kilometer run or walk, with Djimon Hounsou leading the way. Along the route, race participants were able to engage with a mobile app developed in partnership with the 400 Years of African American History Commission, which served as a tour guide. Narrated by Djimon, the app provided additional educational information and context about the sites that runners passed during their journey.
You know, it's just amazing to just be able to walk on the same ground that our ancestors walked and possibly came through this area as enslaved people.
The day concluded with a celebration featuring a concert and cultural festival. There was a palpable sense of community and connection among people who traveled from as far as Uganda to come together, celebrate, and honor the African diaspora.
This is electrifying. I'm absolutely thrilled, and I feel blessed the way this is coming together. It was once just a dream, a fantasy of mine to see our people come together to celebrate their ancestral heritage, and this is amazing.
When he's not fighting climate change, opposing modern slavery, or helping the Black diaspora reconnect with Africa, Djimon Hounsou is one of Africa's most celebrated film stars.
No, you don't.
He has wowed fans as a superhero in Shazam.
You're nothing to them but a means of escape.
And lit up the screen in blockbusters like Gladiator. While making history as the first Black African man nominated for an Oscar for In America,
I'm even in love with your anger.
later earning his second for his powerful performance in Blood Diamond. But for Djimon Hounsou, his work has not only been about entertainment, but also about empowering the Black diaspora.
Is it true that you're an introvert, and so
Yes.
The acting and the modeling became a way for you to express yourself?
Yes. I don't know where you read that, but yes, that was early on in Africa, in Benin, as a teenage, I realized I did a play for, my school at the time, and I realized this is a way for me to get out of my skin. I could be somebody else, and I could be all these, preconceived, people without shame or.
How do you select which characters you want to play, which roles you go for, and which ones you turn down?
I don't want to play those sort of like demeaning, parody-like characters. But I was always really had in the back of my mind that I really want to portray characters of great integrity.
So not stereotypes.
No stereotype. I absolutely was against that.
Door's locked. Got a key? Where is it? We're going too fast. What if we lost it? Give me the key. I have to get back to my family.
Despite Djimon Hounsou's critically acclaimed performances and recent fame from his role in the popular horror franchise A Quiet Place, he has encountered obstacles similar to those faced by other Black actors in Hollywood.
How has Hollywood changed in terms of African representation in what you see since you started out to what's being produced now?
Yes, quite a bit has changed. I must say, because of course, when I came out with Amistad, I was nominated for a Golden Globe, but they ignored me for the Oscars, talking about the fact that they thought that I had just came off the boat and off the streets, where Steven Spielberg, used me for this film, and even though I successfully did that, they just didn't feel like I was an actor for whom we should pay any respect to. So this conceptual idea of diversity and all that, it still has a long way to go. Systemic racism don't change like that anytime soon. I mean, I'm still struggling trying to make a living.
After 30 years in this business?
After, let's speak, 30 years, let's say like maybe the first 10 years was really trying to, sort of acclimate myself to the industry.
And establish yourself.
Establish myself. I've been in this business and making films now over 2 decades, and still, with 2 Oscar nominations, been in many big blockbuster films, and yet I'm still struggling financially to make a living. I'm definitely underpaid.
Growing up, you're one of the first big black actors I saw in big budget films, so it's mind-boggling to me.
Well, that's a sign for you that systemic racism is not something that you can deal with lightly. It's so deep inserted in so many things that we do across the board, and you don't overcome it. You just have to sort of like you have to cope with it and survive the best way you can.
What do you hope your legacy will be in this industry, for your acting, for your philanthropy?
I came to California with this compelling need to do something for my continent and do something for my people in general, and to champion this idea of reconciliation and reconnection with the motherland. I just hope that I have contributed to change the narrative about our people and the continent.
And that's our show. I really enjoyed talking to Djimon Hounsou about uniting the black diaspora, modeling, and movies. If you want to watch it again or any of the shows we have done, find them on our website, cnn.com/African Voices, and connect with us on our social media. I'm Larry Madowo in Richmond, Virginia, and I'll see you next time.